YouTube world, welcome to my lair. Thank you for joining. I'm Gabriel Flores, aka Maybe Lee in the Heezy. For those of you who are just checking in, this is a talk show that I've put together. What's unique about this talk show is I not only talk about my personal stuff, but I also talk about one other topic along with that. So each episode contains two major points. The first one is my personal story, and then the second part is another topic added to it, and that's each episode. I got 42 or so episodes. There's going to be a finale that's going to be coming up, and it's a special finale, and I encourage you guys to keep checking back. As we get closer, I'll give you guys a timeline. But basically, I have all the topics for every talk show already planned out. Every morning, the morning before filming, before airing, I review each of the two topics, and I solidify what I'm going to talk about or get a better idea, and do research if I have to on the one topic, and write a thesis for my personal story. I have a thesis for my personal story, and I don't have any goals when I'm talking. I just talk about whatever comes to mind about the topic, except for my personal thesis that I developed. That's the one thing that I repeat word for word, and then if I do research, I'll give you the quote or information from a specific source that I provide for you guys. And that's pretty much it. So today, we're going to talk again about some stuff, some really cool stuff. My favorite artists are Picasso, Davinci, Tupac, and Brother Lynch Hung. I wanted to talk about my favorite artists because a lot of different artists have impacted my life, which is why I notated Picasso in there as well, along with Tupac. And I'm sure you guys are aware of both artists. But, once you start getting into some of the lesser known artists out there, I'm sure you guys wouldn't, if you pair it up with Tupac, then it's going to be, it would be not as known. So Picasso is, what I'm trying to say is Picasso is a well-known artist. Personally, I don't know any other artists other than myself. I consider myself an artist. So I don't really know any other artists. But, I really wanted to display my versatility with the artists that I like, and not just put a musical artist, but also like different kinds of artists on there. So I wanted to display to you that some things that make these my favorite artists is they have a lot of sick imagery in their work, which means that if you just look at Picasso, for example, he doesn't do a picture of a landscape, which everybody sees a landscape every day, whether you live in the city or in the countryside or in the suburbs. You go outside every day and you see a landscape. Picasso, he draws stuff that's out of this world, that's providing you with images that aren't with shapes and images that aren't seen every single day. Usually in my life, at least, and I'm sure your life is the same, in my life the shapes are pretty standard, squares and rectangles. My bed's a rectangle, TV's a rectangle. So the shapes are pretty standard through pretty much with anybody. It's going to be the same for pretty much anybody. But Picasso, what he does is he goes above and beyond and incorporates shapes into his work that isn't a part of everyday life. And so that's what I like about Picasso is his stuff's out of this world. It's unique. You're not going to see it in your everyday life. And so that's what I mean by sick imagery with Picasso. Da Vinci sick imagery, his sick imagery is where he goes onto the piece of paper and he invents a machinery, a war machine, and he's inventing all kinds of stuff on this piece of paper. So that's why he's an artist that provides a lot of sick imagery as well. So as you can see, the artists that I've selected are my favorite because they have sick imagery in there. Tupac, the sick imagery that he emits in his work is basically, if you take his song about Brenda's Got a Baby, where he talks about, I can't remember, he talks about a girl who has a baby. I can't remember if she got raped or not or something. I think she may have got raped, or she threw the baby in a dumpster, or threw the baby away, or got rid of the baby or something. But it's stories like that from Tupac that make him an artist who has a lot of sick imagery. And I'll have to go back. I'm going to go back and check on the Brenda's Got a Baby, because there's something above and beyond about it. But even then, talking about a girl who's pregnant is going above and beyond, because he's not a girl, he's a guy. And so it's sick imagery because it's coming from a perspective that's way out there, and it's a little bit different perspective. And that's what I like about him, because he's on the piece of paper, he's attempting to relate to something that's further away from him. And Brother Lynch Hung, his sick imagery, he talks about cannibalism, and he talks a lot about death and stuff like that. So that's what attracted me to him. As you can see, all of my favorite artists, they all have sick imagery in them. These rappers, they could have talked about stuff relating to them personally. That wouldn't be as sick. That's not really sick imagery. But they go out there and they talk about these far out there topics that are sick imagery topics. Picasso, Leonardo da Vinci, they don't just stick to drawing what's in front of them. They don't accept the tools that are given to them in their current day and age. They have to go outside of that. They have to do stuff above and beyond that. And so that's why they're my favorite artists. That's why I like them. And I have a lot more favorite artists. Anybody that I listen to on the radio, I like. Anybody I listen to, I like. And I appreciate anybody who does stuff. I encourage anybody to try doing stuff as far as art and art as far as art goes. Because I think anybody who does it is a talent right off the bat. You're going to be good at it. And you don't have to do sick imagery stuff to be a good artist. For me, a good artist, for me, what makes me happy as a good artist is doing stuff that is on my mind, that I want to do, that's truthful, that's exciting, that's advancing what I know, going that route. That's what for me makes me a good artist when I'm trying to be an artist and do artwork. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about trying to be right, because I'm always right. I could never be wrong. So really what I'm just looking for is the answer, or if it's something, if there's usually with if you're doing something that you want to enjoy, then there is no problem. And so I encourage you guys to realize that if you're doing something that's hard and a problem for you, that's not a hobby and that's not art. That's not a passion. That's a problem. And so, that's, you got to know the difference between that. And then if you come to the situation where everything in your life's a problem, then you kind of have to make a choice. Well, is this worth the problem? And go at it that way. But in my opinion, if you have a good life, you will have a hobby or a passion that's without a problem. It'll just come to you easily, and there's not going to be there is no conflict. That's my view of things, and that's what I urge people to do. Is if you're pursuing art, don't pursue it if you feel like if it's a problem and you're trying to solve this problem because you can't understand something. You just can't do it. It's just not right. Art flows smoothly and just comes out. And the more you focus on those problems, the less art it becomes, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. So in that case, that would be an exception. But other to artwork that I like, because that type of stuff you can see in people's artwork when it starts getting too complicated and stuff. But that's a rare exception. Other than that, anything that I listen to, I like generally. And my other theory is anybody that can manage to put something together, and not manage, but anybody that just puts something together, it's going to be nice. It's going to be good because it came from their mind on what they wanted to do. So anybody who does something, I believe, is going to be good in some shape or form. And that's what I think too when I look at anybody's work. That's how I approach it. That's how I approach art. And there's a lot of good artists out there. Who are the top artists on the charts when you think about, and we're just kind of looking at, I'm just kind of thinking about music right now. Who are the top artists on the charts? There's so many out there, without even looking at the charts. I think Logic, the Chainsmokers, Ariana Grande, Takashi 6ix9ine. That's just what I thought of right off the bat. But I went to, I did some research on this, and according to Billboard, which is the title of the page, the web page is Billboard. The title of the article is the Hot 100, which was updated on November 3rd, today, 2018, from the website www.billboard.com. The top four are Maroon 5 and Cardi B. Number 2 is Travis Scott. Number 3 is Juice, WRLD. And number 4 is Marshmello and Bastille. So I was kind of surprised when I saw those, when I looked them up, because I gave you guys a few who I just thought of right off the bat. And then my favorite artists here, of course, Picasso and Davinci aren't on there. Tupac is, even though he's dead, he could still have stuff on the charts. And Brother Lin Chung, he's still alive. He could have stuff on the charts. He's not on there. But, even the other ones I named, they're not on there. So I was kind of wondering what happened there. A lot of the artists I've noticed I listen to aren't on the charts, and they're not usually in mainstream. I think that's a flaw of what they got going on, but I got my own thing going on here. So when I put together my stuff, I'm incorporating all parts of everything that I listen to, and I'm not separating them like that. I don't know why they separate certain artists and certain artists from the ones they have. It's a mystery to me, because all music is good music. Like I said, there's only rare cases for me not to like a song, and that would have to be when a song falls apart. When they start becoming too focused on the problem and it falls apart, which is a rare case, and I've never really saw a case of that, but it could happen. And the artists that I mentioned that are the top artists on the charts, on the Billboard charts, the ones that I know is Maroon 5 and Cardi B. The other ones, I don't really know. I've heard Marshmello, some of his stuff before, but I'm not really sure who that cat is. I heard some of Travis Scott's stuff, but not a lot. Really listened to Maroon 5, and I've also Cardi B. I'm not quite sure about her, but I've listened to her stuff here and there. So out of all of those, out of the top four currently today, Billboard, one artist of all of four, 1 out of 4. I'll say 1 out of 4, even though there's two on two of the ones that I provided out of the four. Some of the ones have two artists on there, so but I'll still say 1/4. So 1/4 of today's current, I could say 1/4 of today's current artists I know. I actually have a CD of Maroon 5. I really like it. It's good. He has a lot of good stuff. Maroon 5 has a lot of good stuff. But those are always changing. Let's see who comes up in the coming days. Anyways, guys, turn on the radio, listen to the music. It's good stuff. Talk to you later. Bye.